Welcome into Staples Center. Joe Morgan here with Sabrina Merchant. Sabrina with
SB Nation.
SB Nation now. She's back. We love it. We're finally back here at Staples Center. We haven't done this in a little while. Couldn't have come back for a better game, quite frankly. Clippers put it all together. They beat down the Nuggets really from the beginning of the game. 132-103.
Yeah,
they go to
40-19.
40-19 is a really good record.
It's really good.
This was the best game I've seen them play this year.
I mean, it's definitely the best game they played with this current iteration of their roster. But, I mean, I always go back to opening night just because that was such an impressive win. But, yeah, I think so. This is the most complete win I've seen from the team all season.
It was, for me, just the way they came out even defensively to start that game. I mean, it really, from the start, it was like, well, the Clippers, are on a different level, at least tonight. And look, we can dive into Denver a little bit if you want to in the way that they looked. But just overall, when they lock in the way that they do, and this is a flip the switch thing. I don't care what anybody says. Teams that flip the switch get up for big games. Mm-hmm. And they did it again tonight. Defensively, they were great. The ball was moving around. This is the Clippers team that many think can win a championship.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like we've seen this version of the Clippers pretty much since they got their entire roster healthy, right? Memphis on Monday, that was dominating performance. And we kind of wrote that off because, Memphis is dealing with a lot of injuries. They're not a great team. Phoenix on Wednesday, dominant performance. Again, kind of written off because it's Phoenix, right? No Kelly Oubre. There's no way to write this one off, right? This is Denver. This is a team that was sitting in second place in the Western Conference. I believe the Clippers just moved in front of them.
They did.
But, I mean, there's no caveats with this team, right? This is a Western Conference contender, and the Clippers took it to them from the get-go, right? I think the game was tied at 2-2, and then the Clippers led the rest of the way, right? I don't think Denver got closer than 7 in the entire second half. And even then, brief little bits of, 7-point deficits. But that defense was just swarming the entire game. I thought they did an excellent job of forcing Nikola Jokic to be a scorer instead of a passer. I think he only had 2 assists the entire game, which is
very
remarkable.
Unlike him.
Yeah. And, I mean, they stayed home on Denver's perimeter players, which is an interesting strategy to do because I don't think they're very good shooters, but it worked, right? And they were forcing turnovers. I mean, every time it seemed like the Nuggets might be able to crawl back into it, it was just an emphatic run in the other direction.
This is a team, when you watch a game like this, you have 7 players score double figures. The way that they were able to spread it around was remarkable, and that's what we've always talked about the Clippers and how good they are, is the depth. And adding Reggie Jackson with Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson was fantastic tonight. He was absolutely fantastic. And Morris plays his role well. He does. I mean, he takes some of those Morris shots that sometimes will drive me crazy, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
This team is so deep compared to really the rest of the NBA. If you look at rosters, it's scary. And it was a good bench before the acquisitions and before they got Morris and Jackson, and now it's just scary good. I don't know. We've talked about this nonstop now for 3 months about how the Clippers are this, Clippers are that, and we've been a little negative at times about it because we're kind of around the team.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think we were all idiots, and all they needed to do was be healthy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we kind of came back to this when Paul George was hurt, that just wait till George comes back, and I guess the problem was is George ever going to come back? Knock on wood, this team being healthy, they don't really seem to have any weaknesses to me. I know a lot of people said that they needed a second ball handler, and that's why they got Reggie Jackson. I was talking about this with you before. I thought they didn't really need Reggie Jackson. I wasn't really sure what he was going to bring. That second unit looks so much more imposing with him there. I forgot what Lou looks like when he's off the ball because he hasn't been in such a long time. Yeah. Reggie is just so comfortable. I mean, he was talking postgame about how he's just at a point in his career where he's done, leading a mediocre team to the playoffs. He's been there. He had this arduous process of rehabbing 2 injuries, while he was in Detroit. Just a terrible, terrible team with the Pistons. Yeah. And now he just wants to be at a point where he can play with good players, and he's playing with really good players. It makes his job very easy, and it's a remarkable thing to watch.
I think something also that needs to be noted, and for some reason I've kind of let this slip through my mind, this is a veteran team. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important as we get into postseason play and as we get into the final stretch of the regular season. Veteran teams know when it's time to turn it on, and it's time to turn it on right now. It just is, and you saw that tonight. But it's funny, Reggie Jackson, Morris, obviously Kawhi and PG, and then Lou. This is a team that's, a lot of these guys, they haven't won rings besides Kawhi, but they've been there and they've done that, and they're ready for playoff battle.
Exactly. They've all sort of done the individual thing, been good on bad teams, and now they've just started to put it together. I just can't get over how impactful Reggie Jackson was.
That was incredible.
I mean, he was just knocking down open shots. He was so much better defensively than I thought he was. I feel like it happens sometimes when guys get stuck on lottery teams that we forget what they're capable of. you know.
Well, and I'm incredibly guilty of this because the OKC years were kind of tough too.
Right.
That's where Reggie Jackson was getting hammered all the time about how he wasn't a good enough shooter. And he plays a role on this team where he doesn't have to be the man, and that can be a really big deal for a guy that's now, how many years is he in the league?
He was drafted in 2011.
Okay, so he's been around for 9 years now. This is a guy that wants to win a ring, and more importantly, I really, as you said, the helping out of Lou and the way that Lou looks. Doc even mentioned he just looks more relaxed. He doesn't look as tired. He doesn't have to dribble the ball up. I just think it's a huge acquisition, and we completely overlooked the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Paul George is happier now that one of his best friends is on the team. This is the best I've seen PG look on offense in a very long time. I mean, we talked before about how the Clippers didn't seem to have enough shooting when George wasn't on the floor.
Now they do. It's all
Completely not a problem now.
And more importantly, I think when they're healthy, it really shocks me the amount of open looks that they get.
Exactly.
Most of these shots are not contested. Doc said it. Lou got an open three in the corner. He hadn't seen that in forever, right? It was refreshing. Look, I thought they were great tonight. On another note, I thought the Nuggets looked awful. I'm concerned about the Nuggets moving forward. Jamal Murray's taking a step back. Gary Harris is taking a step back. Jokic is great. He can't carry this team. Look, I think the Clippers are clearly in line here to get the 2 seed, which I do think is important for seeding. I think the 2 seed is what they need.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just having home court in that second round.
It's a big important. And if you drop down to that 4 seed, you
don't want to get in that morass of
there.
potentially playing.
Bad, yeah. Big win. Really great win for the Clippers, as we kind of both said. I think it's the best of the year for them. 132-103. They go to 40-19. We'll be back here on Sunday for the Sixers 12:30 tip. Simmons is definitely not playing.
And Embiid is not on the trip.
So Embiid's not playing either. So
Tobias Harris homecoming.
Yeah, let's go. Maybe we get one of those video things for him.